Cotton, tea, spices, silk, and lots of art materials. The subcontinent, which is 20 times larger than Britain, is its mainstay, through its rule over the subcontinent. India was like a goose that laid golden eggs to the British. By exploiting India, the British obtained huge funds for importing strategic resources and developing the Destruction Revolution achieved the rise of an empire that never set across the world. Shiploads of raw materials and gold were shipped back to England, but the locals in India didn't think so. Since 1765, when the British East India Company monopolized trade control across India, the East India Company began to collect taxes in India and chronically transferred their taxes to apartments 1/3 was used to pay for the British imports from India. Therefore, the British did not have to pay to buy India goods, but directly asked the Indian people who pay taxes to pay for the British merchants. The East India Company was so smart and the capitalists were great. But judging from the facts, the behavior of East India Company was immoral and despicable. They claimed that India had no economic benefit to the British Empire. The cost of ruling India was too high. The British even operated at a loss, but they used free Indian goods, import and sell in the UK to make huge profits. 1600, a group of entrepreneurs founded the British India Company. Queen Elizabeth I of England approved the British East India Company to be responsible for Eastern trade. During the trade period, conflict broke out between the British and the Portuguese. British defeated the Portuguese. Jahangir had great trust in this white man who descended from the sky and wrote a letter. As a favor to your royal family, issue an order to all the kingdom and settlements over which I wrote accept as my friend any British merchants. They may service as my friend wherever they wish. Where they live, they enjoy unlimited freedom. Under the protection of the king, the East India Company established its headquarters in Surat and Chennai. In 1670, Charles II issued the most powerful 5 laws, granting the East India Company the freedom to occupy territory, mint coin, command force and army, from alliances and declare the war, sign peace treaties, and conduct civil and criminal trials. The power is so awesome.
Comrade Stalin once said that power comes from the barrel of a gun.
So they became the most awesome company in the world because they had armies. So the East India Company changed from a trading company to an army church.
Шойгу! Герасимов! Где боеприпасы?
And their number of troops is still only twice that of the British Navy. Company with armies are invincible. Long live capitalism. Bengal was defeated. Bengal became the British protector. Long live capitalism. In 1857, the British Indian Army formed by local kingdoms and movement built up in unit. After the revolution was supported by force, the British officially established India as a royal colony and then as a protectorate in the Indian Empire. The British king also served as the Emperor of India. The British Empire officially became a legitimate empire. When the power of the British Empire reached its peak at the end of the 19th century, the British Empire extended from Burma to Pakistan, covering the entire South Asia. The Indian Empire at the time included today's India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Long live cannibalism.
Hamas declared war against Israel. Armed Hamas terrorists infiltrated into Israel via a ground invasion and started going door to door slaughtering innocent Israelis. Hundreds of Israeli civilians, including children and women, have been killed or injured, and Israeli hostages have been taken. This is a war, and Israel will take every measure necessary to protect our citizens against these barbaric terrorists.
On September 1, 1939, the Germany and Soviet Union invade Poland, starting World War II. Fascists invade one country after another. Britain was the last hope of the Allies' power. The Nazis exerted pressure on Britain from across the country. Germany, Italy, and even the old ally France forced Britain to withdraw from the war, and Britain was also frustrated by the war. Its manpower, armed forces, and economy were greatly resourced, and this great kingdom is slowly collapsing with war, and this is the best chance for independence. Mahatma Gandhi was one of the most influential politicians and revolutionaries of the 20th century, and is revered as the father of India. He has a history of colonial oppression. It is known for his non-violent resistance and land reform, and is considered one of the world revolutionaries. Gandhi was born on October 2, 1869, in a small village in the western India state of Gujarat. He received a basic education and then went to London to study law. Gandhi suffered racial discrimination and unfair treatment. This inspired him to think about non-violence, resistance, and social justice, launching his political. After returning to India, Gandhi joined the Indian National Congress and became one of the main leaders of the India independence movement. He proposed the theory and strategy of non-violent resistance and used protest oppose British colonial rule and the racial discrimination it brought. His leadership united the Indian people in their struggle for freedom and independence. His protest action include rural and urban residents, the boycott of British goods, the non-cooperation movement, and the fight against racial discrimination. Under continued resistance and pursuit, the British government declared India independent in 1947, ending nearly 200 years of colonial rule. The contribution of Gandhi's sacrifice to the world is undeniable. Although he passed away, his bride will always be the people of India. India embraced peace and embraced democracy. This had profound impact on the world. Long life India, long life democracy.